The 1941 5-cent coin, known officially as the Jefferson nickel, holds an important place in the history of American coinage. Minted during the early years of World War II, this coin represents not just a unit of American currency, but also a piece of the nation's wartime and economic history. The Jefferson Nickel series began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and it has remained a staple of U.S. coinage ever since. The 1941 nickel was produced at 3 different mints: Philadelphia No Mint Mark Denver D and San Francisco S. Together, these mints struck hundreds of millions of nickels that year, ensuring that the 1941 issue is one of the most common pre-war Jefferson nickels. The obverse of the coin features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by sculptor Felix Schlag. His initials, FS, were not added to the coin until 1966, though the design was his. Jefferson's image is detailed, showing his classic colonial hairstyle and dignified profile. Around his portrait, the inscriptions read, "In God We Trust," on the left side and "Liberty 1941," on the right, separated by a small 5-pointed star. The reverse design depicts Jefferson's home, Monticello, a neoclassical mansion that symbolizes Jefferson's love of architecture and his role in shaping the nation's early political ideals. Above Monticello, the word, E pluribus unum, is inscribed, with Monticello and 5 cents below the building, and United States of America curving along the lower rim. The 1941 Jefferson nickel was made of a copper-nickel alloy, specifically 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a silvery appearance. This composition was standard before wartime changes took place in 1942 when nickel was needed for military purposes, prompting the U.S. Mint to replace it temporarily with a silver alloy. Therefore, the 1941 issue represents the last full pre-war year of the traditional nickel composition, which makes it historically significant. The mintages for 1941 were substantial. The Philadelphia Mint produced about 203,265,000 coins, the Denver Mint produced around 53,432,000, and the San Francisco Mint struck approximately 43,445,000 coins. Because of these high mintages, the 1941 nickel is generally not rare in circulated condition. However, well-preserved examples with sharp details and full steps on the Monticello design, meaning that the steps on Jefferson's home are fully visible and unflattened, can be much more desirable to collectors. The full steps designation, often abbreviated as FS, refers to a grading standard used by collectors to identify coins with exceptional strike quality. A Jefferson nickel with 5 or 6 full steps, fully separated and visible under magnification, is considered a premium example and commands higher market value. These full-step coins are much scarcer, especially from the San Francisco Mint, which was known for weaker strikes in that era. In terms of design and aesthetics, Felix Schlag's creation was chosen through a design competition held in 1938, where his entry beat out 390 others. Schlag's original Monticello design had to be modified slightly to fit mint requirements, and the final version has become one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coin history. The 1941 nickel reflects the late 1930s to early 1940s era of U.S. coinage, clean, modern, and classical, with Jefferson's portrait exuding statesmanship. Over the years, the design has become an enduring symbol of the American 5-cent piece. The coin weighs 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters. It does not contain any silver, though many people mistake older nickels for silver due to their metallic color. It's worth noting that the 1941 nickel is magnetic only if struck with errors or impurities, since normal copper nickel alloys are not magnetic. Error coins from 1941 are among the most interesting aspects of this issue. Collectors have discovered examples with double dies, particularly on the obverse, where Jefferson's eye, nose, or the lettering, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," appear doubled. There are also known off-center strikes, clipped planchettes where part of the coin is missing due to a blank cutting error, and die cracks or die cuts, where breaks in the die leave raised lines or blobs on the coin's surface. Some of these errors can bring significant premiums depending on their size, clarity, and rarity. For instance, a 1941 double die obverse in high-grade mint state can sell for several $100s, whereas a dramatic off-center strike might bring similar or higher amounts depending on eye appeal. When it comes to grading, the 1941 Jefferson nickel follows the standard Sheldon scale from 1 to 70. In good G4 condition, Jefferson's features are worn but still visible, with readable legends. In very fine VF20, most details of his hair and Monticello are clearer. In extremely fine EF40, you can see more hair strands and window details on Monticello. In about uncirculated AU50 to AU58, only minor traces of wear remain on the high points of Jefferson's cheek and jawline. In mint state Mississippi 60 and above, the coin shows no wear, though it may have minor marks or luster differences. Coins graded Mississippi 65 and higher are considered gem quality, showing full luster, sharp strike, and minimal flaws. Full step designations usually start being recognized at Mississippi 64 and above, and these coins can be several times more valuable than standard examples. As for current market values, the 1941 Jefferson Nickel without mint mark Philadelphia in circulated condition typically trades for around 10 cents to 25 cents USD, just above face value. In uncirculated grades MS60 to Mississippi 63, it can be worth between $1 and $5, depending on luster and strike. A Philadelphia coin with full steps in Mississippi 65 or higher can fetch $25 to $75, sometimes more if certified by NGC or PCGS. The 1941 D Denver Mint variety in circulated condition usually sells for around 15 cents to 50 cents, while uncirculated pieces can range from $3 to $15. A high-grade MS66 full steps example can bring $50 to $150, depending on the market and strike quality. The 1941's San Francisco Mint nickel tends to be the most valuable among the three, as its strike quality was often weaker, making high-grade examples harder to find. Circulated S mint nickels are worth 25 cents to $1, but uncirculated ones can sell for $10 to $25, and full-step specimens may go for $100 to $300 or more, with superb gems occasionally reaching $500 at auction. Rare errors or high-end certified pieces have even crossed the $1,000 mark when exceptional in quality. Historically, the 1941 nickel is a snapshot of the United States just before the full mobilization of World War II. In 1942, the mint began producing war nickels, made of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese to save nickel for the war effort. Thus, the 1941 nickel represents the last of the pre-war standard composition and is a popular choice for collectors assembling date sets of Jefferson nickels. Many coin enthusiasts appreciate it as a nostalgic piece of American history, a coin that circulated during a pivotal era when the U.S. economy was recovering from the Great Depression and preparing for global conflict. It was a coin that passed through the hands of soldiers, factory workers, and families during one of the most transformative periods in the 20th century. In summary, the 1941 5-cent Jefferson nickel is not an extremely rare coin, but its charm lies in its historical significance, classic design, and the collecting opportunities it presents through its mint varieties, full-step strikes, and error coins. It continues to be an accessible entry point for beginner collectors and an important study piece for advanced numismatists interested in the evolution of the Jefferson Nickel series. A 1941 nickel found in pocket change today may not make someone rich, but it carries with it the spirit of a bygone America, an era of resilience, innovation, and enduring craftsmanship, immortalized in 5 cents of copper and nickel.